Today is the start of week 6 of the 2021 NFL season, and after a really bad past few days for the NFL, it's going to be good for the league to get back to just playing football and seeing some good teams go up against some bad teams like we have a lot this week. Let's go ahead and get into the games. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking down the Philadelphia Eagles in this Thursday night matchup. Philly just really does not have enough to compete with the offense that Tampa Bay has, and Tampa Bay's defense, even though it is depleted at cornerback, it is still probably one of the better defenses in the NFL. Sunday morning, we have probably the worst game on the slate, the Miami Dolphins against the Jacksonville Jaguars overseas. And there's a reason that these two teams are playing at 6:30 in the morning on my time zone. It's because nobody wants to watch this game. So, with that being said, I do think it's going to be the Dolphins winning this, even without Tua Tagovailoa. They still have one of the best secondaries in the NFL. And it's going to give Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who themselves are going through a really bad time with Urban Meyer, the head coach. So I think that's going to be a loss for the Jaguars. Packers-Bears in Soldier Field. The first game of the early morning 1 p.m. / 10 a.m. window. I have the Bears winning this one. It's in Soldier Field. This defense has new life. This offense has new life with Justin Fields at the quarterback. And I just think the Bears are going to upset the Packers. This is just one of those games where the Packers get upset, and we're going to look back and wonder how they lost this game. Next up in the 1 p.m. window, we have the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Carolina Panthers. I have Minnesota taking that one. Not really too much of an explanation. I just think Minnesota has a much higher momentum than the Carolina Panthers do after they just lost 2 straight games. And Kirk Cousins is playing really well for the Minnesota Vikings, even without Dalvin Cook on the field. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Washington football team in Washington. This game could go either way, in my opinion. Either Washington is going to be able to stop the run and get consistent pressure on Patrick Mahomes and keep it close, or Kansas City is going to be able to halt that pressure and just absolutely torch the Washington football team for 35 points and get back on track. Either way, I do want to give it, my pick to Kansas City just because they are the better team. But like I said, this could go either way if Washington is able to get that consistent pressure. Next up in the 1 p.m. window, we do have the LA Rams versus the New York Giants. I think that's just going to go to the Rams, the Giants, without Daniel Jones, possibly without Saquon Barkley, and many other guys that are gone on that team. I think it's just going to be an easier game for the Rams to win than it is for the Giants. Cincinnati Bengals versus the Detroit Lions. That's just going to go to the Bengals. I feel bad for Jared Goff, who's actually putting together a really good season for the worst team in the NFL. But Cincinnati's going to get that win. Next up, we have the Texans and Colts. I think this is going to be a game that the Texans end up winning. The Colts are really in a bad position with this Carson Wentz situation because of the fact that if he played 75% of his snaps this year, he does end up making the Colts lose their first-round pick, and it goes to Philly. And if the Indianapolis Colts have just the incredibly bad season that I thought they were going to have, and they are currently having for the whole entire year, they're going to lose a top 5 pick for a quarterback who is average to below average. So I think Houston's really, I think Houston knows this, and they're really going to be trying to screw over Indianapolis even more this weekend. Next up, you have the LA Chargers against the Baltimore Ravens. This game is in Baltimore. This game is against the Baltimore Ravens team that is coming off an incredible win on Monday Night Football against the Indianapolis Colts. This is a Baltimore Ravens team that's playing at the highest level that they can right now. But I think the LA Chargers are going to win this because of the fact that I think Justin Herbert improves their potential to win shootouts even more than they've had in a long, long time. Peak Phillip Rivers could not be doing what Justin Herbert is doing right now. And that's no slight to Phillip Rivers at all. He is a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. He is just not what Justin Herbert is potentially right now. With that being said, it is going to be a close game. It is in Baltimore. They are going against a really tough defense in Baltimore. I do think that Baltimore can win. I just think that the LA Chargers are going to win. Next up, you've got the Arizona Cardinals against the Cleveland Browns. This is going to be a game that is, again, one of the best games of the weekend in this late window of games. I think the Cardinals are going to win this. This is going to be a really big momentum game for the Cardinals going into Cleveland and beating a really good Browns team. And this is going to be another game where afterwards we're looking at Baker Mayfield and wondering if he can be the kind of quarterback to lead a Cleveland Browns franchise to the Super Bowl. And there's going to be a lot of questions around Cleveland after this game, in my opinion. Next up, you have the Dallas Cowboys against the New England Patriots. This game is in New England, and this is a game where New England just came back. They had a big win against the Texans. That sounds weird because the Texans are a really bad team, but it was a big win for them. That was a comeback win that started with a special teams play, and in general, New England is kind of riding high right now behind Mac Jones and an improved offense and a really good defense. With that being said, I don't think they can even come close to comparing what Dallas does on the offensive side of the ball. And even though New England has still one of the best defensive schemes in NFL history behind Bill Belichick and their just staff, I don't think Dallas can really be slowed down right now, especially if Dak Prescott plays at the highest level he can, which through the first 5 weeks of the season, he's played at the highest level possible for a majority of the time he's on the field. So I think this is going to be a game for the Dallas Cowboys to win. New England, again, can win this game, but I think Dallas is probably, there's a chance Dallas ends up winning this game in a blowout. And next up in the last late window game on Sunday afternoon, we have the Las Vegas Raiders going to Denver to take on the Broncos. This is just going to be a game that's really hard for Las Vegas to win. Not only did they lose their coach on Monday, they ended up losing their last two games against the Chargers and the Chicago Bears. And I just don't think this is going to be a game for the Raiders to win. The Broncos are really high in momentum right now. They've played really, really well behind Teddy Bridgewater and that defense. So I think Denver is really just going to, take Las Vegas and be able to do really whatever they want with them. Las Vegas could be a team that just looks lost on the field on Sunday afternoon. So don't be surprised if that ends up as a blowout as well. And then the last game on Sunday is Sunday Night Football. You have two teams really without a quarterback and two teams who skill position-wise look really good even if they don't have a quarterback. Seattle played really well with Geno Smith at quarterback, even though he did throw an interception to end the game last week. But Pittsburgh is also a team that I think whether Russell Wilson would be playing or not, I think Pittsburgh would win this game kind of easily because of the fact that they have TJ Watt and because of the fact that they have an incredible defense and because of the fact that they have an incredible skill position group that really would be able to do whatever they wanted with the Seattle secondary, even though, they have an all-pro and Jamal Adams, which if you can't hear it in my voice, I just hate the way Jamal Adams plays football. So with that being said, Pittsburgh's going to win this game. Sunday Night Football, big win for Pittsburgh, and another demoralizing loss for the Seattle defense. Monday Night Football, you got the Bills and the Titans. This is just going to be a Bills win, is really plain and simple. They're probably not going to be able to stop Derrick Henry, but I think they have the offensive firepower behind the more than likely MVP by the end of the season, Josh Allen. I think it's just going to be a game that Buffalo wins, and it's going to be another one of those games where Buffalo looks at Tennessee, and it's just another game for them. Even though there is a chance that they are riding high off of a Kansas City Chiefs win. I just don't think that that's how Sean McDermott and the rest of that staff is going to look at this game. They understand the issue that is Derrick Henry in terms of slowing him down. And if Derrick Henry does go off for 200, 250 yards, then yeah, Tennessee probably will win this game. But at the same fact, if Derrick Henry goes for, an average game of like 100 yards, I don't think Buffalo is really too hurting by that because of the fact that they do have Josh Allen and they have probably the best offense in the NFL at the moment. With all that being said, that's going to be the video for me. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like. If you didn't, make sure you leave a dislike. If I had your favorite team losing, don't get mad at me. I'm just a guy with a microphone trying to make cool videos. So at the end of the day, let me know in the comments if I have your favorite team losing and tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm an idiot. Tell me why I'm smart. I like that too. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.